Your soft heart is not a liability, it's your $1 billion edge. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, where we unlearn survival and rediscover softness. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share something with you that came from a conversation I had with Shamika Jones, an extraordinary woman who is revolutionizing the entrepreneurial landscape by proving that Black women can build empires without sacrificing their souls in the process. Shamika Jones is not just a visionary, she is a disruptor who is dismantling the lie that success requires us to become hard, armored, and unrecognizable to ourselves. She's demonstrating that we can scale, thrive, and dominate our industries, all while staying soft, kind, and deeply faithful to who we are. What Shamika shared with me, what she's living and teaching every single day, challenges everything we've been told about what it takes to survive and succeed as a Black woman in business. Let me ask you something. When you think about resilience, what image comes to your mind? For most of us, especially Black women, resilience looks like toughness. It looks like gritting your teeth through the pain, pushing through exhaustion, never letting anyone see you cry. It looks like being the backbone, the rock, the one who holds everything together no matter what's falling apart around you. We've been taught that to survive in this world, we must harden ourselves. That softness is a luxury we simply cannot afford. That vulnerability is weakness. That kindness will get us taken advantage of. That compassion is something we give to others, but never to ourselves. But what if that's completely wrong? What if everything we've been taught about resilience is actually keeping us from the very success we're chasing? What if the real power, the kind that sustains you for decades, the kind that builds generational wealth, the kind that changes entire communities, lies not in hardening yourself, but in staying soft? Shamika Jones calls this soft resilience. And before you dismiss it, before you think this is about being weak or passive or letting people walk all over you, let me be crystal clear. Soft resilience is not about giving up. It's not about giving in. It's not about lowering your standards or accepting less than you deserve. Soft resilience is about maintaining compassion, kindness, and an open heart, even when life has given you every single reason to close it. It's about enduring with grace instead of bitterness. It's about building empires without burning out. It's about winning without losing yourself in the process. Let me paint you a picture of what soft resilience looks like in real life. Shamika has survived losses that would absolutely shatter most people. She lost her daughter when she was only 2 years old, a pain so profound that it never leaves. It only changes shape over time. In the aftermath of that unimaginable grief, child services took her other children, and she had to fight with every ounce of strength she possessed to get them back. She did get them back, not because the system made it easy, not because anyone handed her grace, but because love made her relentless, because her softness, her refusal to become bitter, gave her a strength that hardness never could. She has experienced homelessness 6 times. 6 times. She has lost stability, safety, shelter, everything she once thought defined success and security. Yet losing everything did not take who she is. It did not steal her compassion. It did not rob her of her faith. It did not destroy her ability to love deeply and lead with her heart. She is still soft. She is still kind. She is still standing. Her story is not one of being broken and barely surviving. It is one of endurance, grace, and a heart that refused to become bitter. Even when the world gave her every reason to harden, to close off, to protect herself by shutting down. And here's what Shamika wants you to know: that softness, that refusal to harden, is not a weakness. It is your greatest entrepreneurial edge. It is your superpower. It is the thing that will set you apart in a marketplace full of people who have lost themselves trying to win. Because here's the brutal truth: we live in a world that tells Black women entrepreneurs to hustle harder, grind longer, sacrifice more, prove ourselves twice as much for half the recognition and a fraction of the resources. We're told that if we just work harder, if we just sacrifice more of our time, our health, our families, our joy, if we just push through the pain and exhaustion, we'll finally make it. We'll finally be enough. We'll finally get the success we deserve. But that's a lie. That's the grind culture myth. And it's not just exhausting us, it's killing us, literally and figuratively. The data backs this up in ways that should make us all furious. Black women start 80% of their businesses with personal savings. 80%. We're not getting venture capital. We're receiving less than 1% of VC funding. 1%, we're not getting bank loans. We're not getting the networks, the mentors, the access, the opportunities that others take for granted as their birthright. We're starting from scratch, from our own pockets, from our own faith, from our own relentless grit. And yet, we're told the problem is us. We're told we need more training, more education, more polish, more professionalism, as if the issue is our competence and not a system that was deliberately designed to keep us out, to keep us struggling, to keep us begging for crumbs while others feast. But Shamika is flipping that entire script. She's saying, stop waiting for a system that was never built for you to finally let you in. Stop begging for a seat at tables that were never meant to include you. Start accessing the resources that are already here, the grants, the networks, the programs designed specifically for us, and do it without sacrificing your softness. Do it without becoming someone you don't recognize in the mirror. Let me give you three powerful examples of what this looks like in the real world with real women, creating real change. In 2026, there was a program called the Fearless Striver Grant Initiative. This program awarded $10,000 each to 11 Black women owned small businesses across the United States. $10,000. No equity required, no ownership given away, no strings attached, just cash, software, and the tools these women needed to scale their visions. These women were facing severe capital shortages. They were relying on personal savings, bootstrapping in the middle of massive economic uncertainty, navigating job losses and federal cuts, and an economy that seemed designed to crush them. But they didn't give up. They didn't harden. They applied for support. They received it, they grew their businesses, and they did it without losing themselves, without becoming cynical, without sacrificing the very qualities that made them powerful in the first place. Then there's the Wish Local Empowerment Program. This program granted $500 to $2,000 to Black owned small businesses with 20 employees or fewer. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking: $500. That's not life changing money. But let me tell you something. For a woman who's just been laid off, who's facing unemployment rates that are double the national average, who's trying to launch a business in the middle of tariffs and federal budget cuts and economic chaos, that $500 is everything. It's the difference between staying stuck in fear and taking that first terrifying step toward your dream. It's the difference between giving up and giving it one more shot. And dozens of Black women took that step. They expanded their operations, they hired help, they bought equipment, they proved that small grants can yield massive traction when they land in the hands of women who refuse to quit. And then there's the Hidden 10 framework by the Key Network. This program supports African Black women founders who have already generated revenue but are stuck, unable to scale because they don't have access to capital, networks, or strategic guidance. Listen to these numbers. Only 2 to 3% of venture capital goes to women led startups. Only 37% of women in Africa are banked compared to 48% of men. The system is rigged. But the Key Network said, we're not waiting for the system to change. We're not begging for inclusion. We're building our own pipeline. We're creating our own networks. Like we're demanding respect, not rescue. And they're accepting founders into a community that elevates women to sector leadership. They're proving that when you give Black women real access, not charity, not pity, but actual resources and respect, we don't just survive, we scale, we dominate, we transform entire industries. These are not fairy tales, these are not exceptions. These are real programs, real women, real victories. And they all share one critical thing in common. They didn't require these women to harden, they didn't require them to become someone else. They didn't demand that they sacrifice their values, their compassion, their softness. They met them exactly where they were, soft hearts and all, and gave them the tools to thrive. So here's what Shamika wants you to take away from this conversation. First, embrace soft resilience as your strategy, not your weakness. You can scale your business without sacrificing your compassion. You can build wealth without burning out. You can lead with love and still win. Personal savings and strategic grants can fuel your start. Heart driven persistence can overcome funding gaps that seem impossible. You don't have to choose between success and softness. That's a false choice designed to break you. You can have both. You deserve both. Second, access targeted grants strategically and unapologetically. Programs like Fearless Striver and Wish Local are offering $10,000 or more without equity dilution. They're turning barriers into breakthroughs for Black women business owners across the United States. You don't need a perfect pitch deck. You don't need $1 million idea. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to apply. You just need to show up for yourself. You just need to believe that you deserve support because you absolutely do. Third, scale beyond revenue stalls by building community. Limited venture capital and limited networks don't define your limits. They define the system's limits, not yours. Join networks like the Key for African and Diaspora Women, Access Capital, Access Respect, Access Growth Pipelines that were built with you in mind. You are not alone in this. You are not the first woman to face these barriers, and you will not be the last. There is a community waiting for you. There are resources waiting for you. There is a future waiting for you. And it doesn't require you to lose yourself to get there. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. This sounds beautiful, LeAnne, but I'm exhausted. I've been fighting for so long. I've been strong for so long. I've been holding it together for so long. I don't know if I have anything left to give. And I hear you. I see you. I have been you. But here's what I need you to understand with every fiber of your being. Staying soft is not about having more energy, it's not about adding more to your plate. It's about redirecting the energy you're already spending. It's about stopping the fight against yourself and starting the fight for yourself. It's about saying no to what drains you and yes to what fills you. It's about protecting your peace as a daily practice, not a distant luxury you'll get to someday when everything calms down. Because the truth is, the world needs your softness. Your children need your softness. Your business needs your softness. Your community needs your softness. And you, sis, you need your softness most of all. Shamika Jones has shown us that you can lose everything and still keep your heart intact. You can face homelessness, devastating grief, systemic barriers designed to crush you, and still choose kindness. You can build a business, scale a vision, change lives, and transform communities, all while staying true to who you are at your core. And if she can do it, how so can you? So here's what I'm asking you to do. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, right now. First, I want you to apply to one grant this week, just one. Fearless Striver, Wish Local, the Key Network, whatever program speaks to your situation and your dream. Don't overthink it. Don't wait until you feel perfectly prepared. Don't let fear or imposter syndrome talk you out of it. Just apply because your soft heart deserves the resources to thrive. And these programs exist specifically for you. Second, I want you to journal about this. Write down one loss you've experienced, one thing that could have hardened you, that should have made you bitter, and ask yourself this question: how did that loss actually fuel my next breakthrough? How did staying soft, staying kind, staying faithful to who I am make me stronger, not weaker? How did my refusal to harden become my greatest advantage? Because here's the truth that no one wants to tell you, but that you need to hear. Your soft heart is not a liability in business. It is your $1 billion edge. It is the thing that makes you different in a marketplace full of people who all sound the same. It is the thing that makes you powerful in ways that can't be replicated or copied. It is the thing that makes you unstoppable because you're building something that actually matters, something that will last, something that will outlive you. So stay kind, stay relentless, scale unapologetically, build your empire without losing your soul, lead with love, and watch what happens when you stop apologizing for who you are and start leveraging it as your greatest strength. And remember this above all else: you don't have to harden to survive. You just have to stay soft enough to thrive. This is the soft girl era. And sis, your era starts right now. Not when you're ready, not when conditions are perfect, not when someone gives you permission. Right now, with your soft heart leading the way.